When you hear the word energy, what mental image does it conjure up? An oil rig floating in the ocean? Or wind turbines rotating slowly in a wide, open field? Or perhaps the colorful neon lights that decorate the night of a metropolis? Or cars waiting in line in a gas station? Or your mobile phone with a dead battery in the mid of an important call? Various forms of energy make modern life possible. It is no exaggeration to say that our lifestyle could not survive one day without the endless production and consumption of energy. And unfortunately, most of the energy we need come from fossil fuels: coal, petroleum, and natural gas. We've got this love-hate relationship with fossil fuels, don't we? On one hand, we can't deny how much we depend on them for our daily lives, our cars, our homes, even the plastics we use every day. But on the other, there's that nagging guilt, the undeniable environmental impact we see with every news report on climate change. It's like we're stuck in a dance with a partner we desperately want to leave, yet can't quite let go. To escape this dilemma, we need to understand the fundamental facts about fossil fuels. Let's get to the basics. What is energy? According to Wikipedia,
energy is the quantitative property that is transferred to a body or to a physical system, recognizable in the performance of work and in the form of heat and light.
that is a mouthful. But to explain it to a 6-year-old, energy basically is the stuff that can make things move, glow, or hot. We have a long history of using energy. Humans, as a kind of animal, need to absorb chemical energy stored in food for our body and mind to operate properly. Our food, carbohydrates for instance, stores chemical energy transformed from solar radiation through a process called photosynthesis. For millions of years, eating had been the only way evolution bestowed on our ancestors to harness energy from the environment, until fire was discovered. Evidence of controlled fire dates back to around 1 to 1.5 million years ago with the species Homo erectus, based on archaeological findings such as charred bones, ash deposits, and burnt stone tools found in early human habitation sites in Africa. Fire discovery likely happened by accident, and for a long period, early humans preserved and used naturally occurring flames. Later, humans learned to make fire by striking flint against stone or using a fire drill. Early humans mostly used fire for cooking, heating, and fending off predators. And firewood is the chief resource of energy for ancient humans. You may be surprised to know that even today, firewood is still the main source of energy in some rural households of developing countries. Why is firewood so persistent? Research shows that the burning of traditional biomass as an energy source is linked with low income. For some poor rural families, burning firewood, straw, or animal dung is the only option for cooking or heating, as other forms of fuel are just too expensive or simply inaccessible. We started to use fuel in the real sense of the word since the Industrial Revolution. The first fuel industrially used was coal. Before the Industrial Revolution, coal had been in use in small quantities in different parts of the world. Historical records show that both ancient Chinese and Romans had used coal for heating and cooking. But it was the onset of Industrial Revolution, particularly the invention of steam engine, that drove the dramatic increase in coal use. Coal, in essence, is fossilized plants. Coal forms when plants are buried, compacted, and heated to become sedimentary rock. And the process, unsurprisingly, is called coalification. Most plants that eventually become coal once thrived in swamp-like environments, as these are particularly conducive to the formation of coal. When plants die in these wetlands, they are covered by water and shielded from oxygen. As a result, they do not decay as quickly as they would on dry ground. Instead, dead plants build up into layers on the soggy bottom of the swamp. Burial of the plants is just the first phase of coalification. It requires two other elements to finish the job: pressure and heat. Over millions of years, mountains formed over the top of the buried plants, compacting them and pushing them deeper into the ground, closer to Earth's core, where the temperature is higher. Coal undergoes this process for 60 to 300 million years. The amount of pressure and heat generally determines the grade of coal. The higher the pressure and temperature, the higher the rank for the coal. Higher grades of coal resemble rock, while in lower grades, for example, peat, the shape of plant parts is still discernible. After all, we are still burning wood, just ages old. People started mining coal from the 16th to 17th century. At first, they dug with primitive tools like shovels, and only very shallow coal pits could be reached. During the Industrial Revolution, coal mining techniques improved significantly. Deeper mines were explored through shafts and tunnels, and steam-powered pumps were used to help remove water from flooded shafts. To move coal above ground, it first needed to be detached from the seams and cut into small pieces. Initially, this was done with picks. Later explosives were used, and the introduction of coal-cutting machines, first driven by steam, then by electricity, greatly increased the efficiency of mining. The hauling of coal went through similar technological advances, from trolleys pulled by men or horses to electric locomotives and modern conveyor belts. Coal mining is a dangerous job. According to statistics from U.S. Department of Labor, the coal fatalities from 1900s to the 1940s were above 1,000 every year. Even in recent years, with better mining technologies and safety measures, coal mining still claims many lives. The hazards are manifold. The shafts can collapse, open fire can cause explosions, and poor ventilation can suffocate or poison miners. The expression canary in the coal mine, meaning an advanced warning of some danger, originates from the times when miners used to carry caged canaries while at work. If there was any methane or carbon monoxide in the mine, the canary would die before the levels of the gas reached those hazardous to humans. The worst coal mining disaster in history happened in a coal mine located near Bunxi in the Liaoning province of China in April 1942. It resulted in the death of more than 1,540 miners. Most of the fatalities were reported to have been caused by carbon monoxide poisoning due to the closure of the ventilation system, induced by an explosion. Looking back at the history of coal mining, you will notice that coal miners have been earning low incomes and leading harsh lives. Their life stories were often depicted in literary works dealing with the Industrial Revolution and the working class. Notable novels like Hard Times by Charles Dickens and Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence, among others, use coal mining as a powerful symbol of industrial exploitation and the social issues of the time. Coal mines are unevenly distributed around the globe. Most of operating coal mines are located in Asia and North America. U.S. has the largest coal reserve in the world, followed by Russia, Australia, and China. As of December 31st, 2020, estimates of total world proved recoverable reserves of coal were about 1,070 billion tons. And, according to one report from the International Energy Agency, global coal use was expected to surpass 8.77 billion tons in 2023. Do the math, and it seems we may not have a coal shortage anytime soon. But the world of energy is more complicated than that. For example, in 2022, Russia's war on Ukraine caused natural gas price to rise rapidly, pushing some countries to turn to coal as an alternative. The demand of coal surged. Ironically, this happened a year after countries agreed to phase down their use of coal at the United Nations Climate Conference in Glasgow. Global sales for coal exports from all countries totaled $189.7 billion in 2023. The five biggest exporters of coal are Australia, Indonesia, Russia, United States, and Canada. The biggest producer, consumer, and importer of coal is, you guessed right, China. Every year, China is burning more coal than the rest of the world combined. The booming economy of China over the last couple of decades creates increasingly higher demands of electricity, which means more power plants that burn coal. Most of coal is used for generating electricity. In the United States, over 90% of coal is consumed for electricity generation. And in 2022, when U.S. has been switching to other energy sources for power, coal still accounted for about 19.5% of U.S. electricity generation. For China, this percentage is 65% in 2023. As the world's largest emitter, China's per capita power sector emissions were more than double the global average. The good news is that China is also shifting to hydro, wind, and solar for electricity. The mechanism of electricity generation from coal is straightforward, much like that of a steam engine. Coal is burned to heat up water in a boiler, turning water into high-pressure steam, which is directed at blades of a turbine. The turbine is connected to a generator. It causes the magnets inside the generator to rotate, creating a magnetic field that induces an electric current in the wires. This generates electricity. The steaming passing the turbine blades need to be cooled and condensed into water and pumped back into the boiler to be reused. So a lot of energy is lost from the heat of steam. Coal power plant efficiency of a typical U.S. coal plant is around 33%, which means 67% of the energy is lost. Besides power generation, coal is also crucial in steel production process. Steel plants produce coke by baking coal until it becomes carbon by burning off impurities without burning up the coal itself. When coke is consumed, it generates intense heat, but little smoke, making it ideal for smelting iron and steel. Making coke requires coal of higher purity than thermal coal, which is used for power generation. Okay, today we talked about coal, one of the most important fossil fuels that we heavily rely on. In the next video about energy, we will talk about petroleum and natural gas. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and click the like button if you find this video helpful. See you next time.